I think just as a whole, separation anxiety is so common in this population because they lack social communication, confidence, and skills. So of course they're going to be like, I don't feel safe, especially with families, not our families now, because they realize you're not going to throw them in a big soccer tournament and leave because that's like, no, not going to do that. But that our children we need to meet them at their level and stage and where they're at and gradually move. I always say you want to create a world as much as you can that they feel safe in, good in, and they're functioning. Then you begin to branch out. You don't start here out and then move in. You start here. So rather than joining soccer, a big soccer with 1 million people that's loud, large, lots of people, you maybe start with your kids in a backyard soccer or meet at the soccer field with a couple friends, your buddies from school, and you build these skills and confidence till you start to do the big, loud, large places for many of our sensory sensitive kids. And that will help them feel safe. It's about making her feel safe where you feel confident. And she senses that. Look, how intuitive are our kids? They're so intuitive. And so they feel all that you feel. I would say that is like they're highly sensitive and they sense. So when you're nervous, you're like concerned, they pick that up like that. Yes. So I think that's an area for you to, I'm proud of you for that. And you show your confidence. And the interesting part, and I think, Kevin, you can share because you have been working with us, is to see the evolution in your own sense of self where you're confident because you see the progress she's making.
Yeah. I mean, even sitting here right now, I'm thinking back when she had a lot of separation anxiety and she wasn't able to do certain things or do certain things the way we knew she wanted to and we wanted her to. At the time, we probably didn't even connect that with the selective mutism. It was just kind of two separate issues and we never thought of it being part of the same thing. But as her selective mutism treatment continues and she gains more confidence, her separation anxiety has resolved.
I mean, she's in there taking over the classroom from what I
Which
understand.
is what I'm hearing. Yes, I'm hearing reports that she's being her sassy self in there. So I'm super excited about that. But also just thinking of myself back when she was having this separation anxiety and the way I was dealing with it is completely different than I would now.
You're confident. She's feeling your confidence too.
Right.
Because I see it. Like you're like, yeah, she's doing great. And you believe it from like your core being. She feels that. It's amazing. The kids feel your confidence.
I agree. I like you said how the kids feed off the parents and the parents feed off the kids. That's completely true. And I relate to that. We live it. It's true.
Yeah, I just have to give this example and you guys are going to laugh. I'll never forget years and years ago, I was working with a family. Child was similar in age, about 7, and she had never been to the dentist because she was highly sensitive. And so the parent was sitting across the desk and we were talking and the child was just sitting there kind of playing and having, look comfortable. It was a great session. And the mom's like, Dr. E, we got to go to the dentist. And the child's sitting right next to her. And she's like, and I'm just so nervous about it. I'm so worried because she's so sensitive and they have to open her mouth and stick things in. Well, I'm watching from across. I'm like trying to say to the mom, stop. And I eventually said, hey, and I diverted the conversation. But that child went from having feeling good to terrified because the mother was projecting her own fears, her own anxiety. No wonder this kid never went to the dentist, right? Or it was so scary. And so anyway, my point being with that story is that the children feed off their parents and how we project out our feelings and thoughts on the world, our children will model that. Yeah. So I just thought that was an interesting story, just kind of, relate to,
It's definitely opened my eyes about, how I project things, and when she's around.
But you're also anxious. Like we're all anxious. We want our children to thrive and do well. So we're trying to set them up. So in your defense, you're just trying to protect her. But now it's like, hey, the way I'm going to protect her is help her become a confident social communicator and independent as well. And that's working through this and throughout it, as Kevin was saying, the confidence you'll get, she's going to feed on that. And it keeps just going like that. And before you know it, it's like, this is a thing of the past.
Yeah, it's not just therapy for them. It's also for us as well, as parents and just as independent adults,
I mean, that's why CommuniCamp, honestly, for me, I couldn't imagine doing this without you guys being here. Like, to me, it's just as much parent education and support as it is with your children. Because guess what? if you don't implement the changes and make these changes, it's just going to go so far because they don't know how to say, like I said yesterday, to go into their teacher and say, I need you to do this, this, and this. We've got to train teachers, we have to train parents and understand. Did you guys like the term look, listen, and learn? I love that.
I do too. And the other three L's, the large, loud, lots of people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it
So
all resonates.
yeah, doesn't it? It's
Mhm.
kind of neat. So I want to touch on, and both of you had questions on like kind of how do you share like your children's concerns with others hearing their voice and making those leaps with the reaction they could get from their friends. Do you want to both share a bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Adira is very aware of what's going on around her, how people are reacting to certain things. And yeah, I mean, I know it's common, but one of her biggest fears, I think, is if she does start talking in school, even if she feels like she wants to and she's getting more comfortable, she does not like when people point out that she hadn't been talking before, or, uh, I've witnessed people in school say to her, they'll see her say something to me and they'll go, I didn't know you could talk. And then, it just, her eyes widen and she tries to avoid, talking near them. So I know as much as she wants to, school is such a hard place to make that leap and to get that confidence to start talking. So, I mean, one of my questions was, as she moves forward, would you recommend her staying with some of the kids she is comfortable with?
Yeah, I know that was your second part of the question.
Yeah.
Well, so it's two prongs, so I'll get to that.